After a tearful reunion with the king and his daughter, the Ring of Peace get down to business. The search is on for the phylactery belonging to the Lich Sozu, who despite being back in Falador for days now, has not shown himself. The king helps pinpoint ruin sites that may have some clues, or even the phylactery itself. He also mentions a powerful weapon called the Frostbrand that holds a sentient mind there that's been around for centuries. The team also meet with refugees from Gale, who not only bring back their imprisoned ambassador, but also news of an imminent invasion. They speak of powerful new weapons called the airship, the cannon, and a new legion of beings called Warforged. Led by Cornelius Spindlewick, friend of Eatmos and the king, as well as headmaster of Gale University, the group of refugees offers to help form defenses. Lanira volunteers to travel to a peace summit to be held in the country of Wildfront. If she can't broker peace, then she will try to pull allies from other countries. Most of the ring travel to their respective homes in hopes of getting much needed rest. But back at the palace, Damon is confronted by Commander Dawnsinger and the king. He's forced to admit to the king that he and his Shadow Knights have been conspiring to keep secrets, and in fact most of his faction no longer possess the powers that even give them their name. The king strips the Shadow Knights and Damon of their ranks and wealth, and thanks only to the intervention of Lanira, frees Damon to continue helping the Ring of Peace. As the rain pours down that night, each member of the Ring of Peace finds trouble sleeping. Flare has a nightmare of splashing through the pond in the Gentle Grove while her home burns. She sees elven shadows in the distance, and Son of the Morning tells her she can still save her people. Eatmos dreams of searing pain in his new eye. He splashes water on his face, but when the water settles in the basin, his reflection is that of a lich. He talks with the reflection about many projects they can complete with eternal life. Malice just can't sleep in his small home office. He thinks of Altuna's last message, that Drow are on the march towards New Tethamar. They mean to breach the surface to team up with Sozu. His wife hands him a glass of water, and they talk about the future of their family. Mudgraw awakens from the splash of cold water that obviously came from Hart. She forces a conversation about the bargain he struck with the Sharnai. Her unique perspective is that his brave decisions led them all to the partial success in the Shadowfell, and so, if he traded his boon from Queen Titania to reverse his curse, then it might undo what he accomplished. And Damon heads to his home in the estates, but is ambushed outside by Keelar and former Shadow Knights, all of whom were just betrayed by him. As the rain pours down, Damon nearly comes to a heroic end, but is saved by his friend who just happened to be at his home. Together they kill the Shadow Knights, but they know that there are more out there. They devise a plan for Damon and his family to flee the country undetected and presumed dead. The following morning, on the 21st of Snowmelt, just 10 days from the equinox, the team finds out about Damon's demise. Lanira leaves for Wildfront, and the team visit Eatmos' tower to talk to the group of artificers. They discover a spy amongst them, and are able to quickly stop her from doing any harm. And with the renewed fear of enemies everywhere, Mudgraw stays at the palace to gather intel from his network. The rest of the team go to 3033 AD, the ruined site where the Frostbrand lays. Flare and Eatmos face the challenge of the Frostbrand, and proving that she could be worthy to wield it, the Frostbrand fuses with Flare's claws. She can now use its power, and more importantly communicate with its wise and knowledgeable presence. In need of some rest, the group travel to the Gentle Grove where they talk with Hathi. He gives them all the information he knows about other ruined sites, the Temple of Madness, the Boiling Grotto, and the Voiceless Catacombs, all locations the king thought might hold clues to Sozu. The next morning, the team travels to the Temple of Madness, where they come across 5 sets of tracks heading into a seemingly empty building. Once they enter, the room becomes filled with mirrors and they hilariously try to navigate to the other end, with Flair cut up from shards of mirror while laughing uncontrollably on the floor. Eatmos trying to get himself out of a corner, and Hart on all fours crawling slowly to the other end. Malice also feels lost. And then he hears the voice of his goddess Alistrai in his mind. She's able to clear his thoughts, and with that the mirror illusion fades away and he's able to carry his team to the other end of the room where a set of stairs travels downwards. Once the illusions fall, the team can also see 5 adventurers dead, having succumbed to the trap as well. Down in the lower floor, Eatmos easily sees through even more illusions with his new eye and grabs the personal journal of Sozu Falador. In it, he rants about his arguments with his sister, his obsession with a jewel the size of his fist, and the process it took to turn himself into a Lich. He knows that either he or his sister will have to be destroyed, and he warns the Tower Eternal to stay out of the conflict. With far more clues in hand, they head back to the palace ahead of a heavy storm. Reunited with Mudgraw, they're forced to wait out the storm for a whole day there, but at least they have time to catch up on reports.